All right, the last question asks you, what are the three ways that metabolic activity is controlled? So your textbook gives you three ways here. So the first one is by simply controlling the amounts of enzymes that are present in the cell. So we call this, transcriptional or translational regulation. Basically, by either you can basically speed up metabolic pathways by increasing the amounts of those enzymes that are involved in them. Or similarly, you can decrease the activity of a metabolic pathway by degrading the proteins and stopping to express them at the same time. The amount of enzymes is controlled basically by regulating their production and also their degradation. So that's the first way. Right, the second way is by regulating the activities of the enzymes that are present. So we've talked about activators and inhibitors before in previous chapters. And so if you have a small molecule that binds to an enzyme that activates it, well, then that metabolic pathway is going to tend to be activated. Similarly, if you have a enzyme that is normally that it binds to an inhibitor, that inhibitor then is going to tend to decrease the catalytic activity of that enzyme and thereby decrease the activity of that metabolic pathway. Now the third way is by regulating the accessibility of substrates. So this has to deal with compartmentalization in biology. So basically by keeping certain metabolites or certain molecules in different compartments, we can basically, cells can regulate what is happening in those different compartments or inside or outside of those compartments. So for instance, if you have an enzyme A that would normally take this reactant R and turn it into a product P, right? So if this enzyme here, it's near reactant R, it's going to do this chemistry and that metabolic pathway is going to occur. But if instead, though, inside of the cell, R was trapped in an organelle and A was not, well then this chemistry of R to P, sorry, that's not a P, there we go, R to P, that can't occur because the enzyme is separated physically from the reactant. And so the three ways are basically by controlling the amount of the enzyme, controlling the catalytic activity of the enzymes, or by controlling the accessibility of enzymes and substrates in the same area. And that is it for the final question.